I just want to bring the entire global platform to India because currently the gaming market is very premature in India and it has a very huge potential, not only by the demographics, because obviously 1.5 billion people is not less. And even if I'm able to capture 1% of the market, you can imagine the millions of people I'm able to help.
Do you feel like softwares like this pose a risk to people in the sense that people become dependent? They lose their ability to think, they lose their ability to operate without a system or a function that helps them operate day-to-day tasks?
What I believe is people become more efficient. Why is that? Is very simple. Today, let's say for myself as an example, I'm a founder, I'm a director, I'm an entrepreneur, but with all of this, I'm also a very humble developer. I develop lots of these products by myself. Comparing this, like in past 5 years, what have changed, or let's say past 7 to 8 years, what have changed. When I used to do programming when in my early days in 2017 or 2018, if I had a problem, I had to go on Google, search the entire internet and find a solution after, let's say, 1 hour or 2 hours if I have some problems or whatever. Or let's say a bug or whatever I had in my code or in my program or whatever it is. Today, if I get anything wrong, let's say in the console or the terminal, I can just put that error on ChatGPT or any other platform that I use while retaining the policies and everything. I can get, an example where the code has arisen, why the code has arisen and everything pretty quickly. So what it did is it did not took away my job. It did not make me more lethargic or lazy or something. What it did is made me more efficient. So people have to think like that.
I agree that it improves efficiency, but do you feel like people are slowly losing their ability to operate and think on their own?
You might notice like anything excessive is bad. So if you use ChatGPT or any generative AI, DeepSeek or Google Gemini or whatever it is, in a very controlled and an efficient way, that okay, I want to use this for this part and then remaining things I want to do it by myself or this and that, and I think that's very useful use case of it. But if you are like, okay, even if I want to write an essay, I have to just be like, I'll give a prompt to ChatGPT and get the result and just give it to whatever it is, then that's not good. And morally or in your cognitive moral behavior, that's not good.
But realistically, if we're speaking, I feel like most students these days, that's what they do.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, and that's why what they do in Western countries, like let's say for China and India or any good Asian countries, people can't do it because most of the exams and stuff or the projects are still mostly handwritten or stuff. Over here, people are too much dependent, and unfortunate to say, people cry about not getting jobs after graduation. I study at UNSW. I'm on my 4th year of UNSW, and I have seen people who have graduated from UNSW and they do not have any job. So what's the use of studying in a top 20 global university where if a person is graduating, the companies do not value that certificate?
It's more about the skill set.
Yeah.
What's the scariest thing for you when you started the business? What was the part where you were like, should I step in? Should I not? Should I take the risk? What was the scariest part for you?
Obviously, the most cliched one is the financial aspect, how much I'm investing or whatever I'm investing. And I mean, for the users or for the viewers who are viewing us, for them to know, currently the entire SKDIV belongs to myself. SKDIV doesn't have any loans or anything on it, and it has around 7 to 8 products in the market, including the websites, the softwares, the collaborations that we had. and it's generating revenue either through subscriptions or through in-app purchases and all that.
Guys, CREWcoins.
Yeah, and obviously the ad revenues and everything. So yeah, initially one of the big concerns or the big fear that I had was, obviously, if I invest this much amount, will it work? But at the same time, I had that self-belief. I had an inner voice in myself that, okay, I have to do this because of two things, if I have to say it. Firstly, as you know, the computer science jobs and everything is becoming more competitive because lots and lots of people, hundreds and thousands of people are getting graduated in computer science, but at the same ratios, the companies are not being generated, or the pre-existing jobs are not being, concluded or something. So obviously the job market, or the computer science job market, was very competitive. So I was like, let's create something which is of my own, meaningful. And I had the knowledge, if I work for myself, generate something nice, it's going to be meaningful, because it will, at the end of the day, it will be still my product, not anybody else's product. So that was one of my ideas and one of my pursuing things that I had in my mind. Okay, if I do something, it will be mine. The other fear which I had was, are people gonna use it? Because obviously, if I have some problem, is it only limited to myself, or are other people experiencing it or something? I mean, fortunately it worked. There are people who are using our products. There are people who are using our services. So, and that made me realize is not only myself, there are lots of people who might have experienced the same problem.
Yeah. And adding on to this, I feel like this sort of relates to the double diamond framework.
Yeah.
If you've studied commerce or, business studies or anything along the line, you would know that in today's time, a lot of businesses focus on the solution.
Yeah.
How can I fix? But I feel like the predominant thing should be the problem.
Yeah.
When your problem is distinct, clear, that's when you can focus on the solution. It's not about the solution, it's about the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
What was the problem that you identified in the market?
So obviously, one of the things which I previously said, like about the Indian software market, which was very stagnant, very kind of like saturated, very constrained, that, okay, if I suffice the Indian demographic, that is enough for those companies and everything. So that was one of the problems. The other problem with Crew perspective was obviously the players and everything. And one of my ideas with Crew is to bring the global audience, whether it's Western audience or whether it's the people from Asian countries who play really good games, who compete and everything. I want to bring those people to India, whether it's through creating events, whether it's through people-to-people connections with SKDIV and with Crew. I just want to bring the entire global platform to India, because currently the gaming market is very premature in India, and it has a very huge potential, not only by the demographics, because obviously 1.5 billion people is not less. And even if I'm able to capture 1% of the market, you can imagine the millions of people I'm able to have still. So that was obviously, these are the things which was definitely the things that I had in my mind and everything.
So basically the problem that you were trying to solve was finding a platform that would connect people and allow a community to be formed.
Yeah, obviously, like that was one of my ideas that I had, to connect people and having meaningful connections and putting the software industry of India into a global perspective.
Looking at starting their own business or founding a startup, then what's one piece of advice that you'd give them?
Believe your idea, and whatever you guys have belief, and make sure that you're able to convey the same message either to your investors or to the audience, because if you guys are not going to believe it, nobody else is going to do it.
This is very similar to what Aris said in our previous episode. He's also a business owner, so he was talking about how the main thing is believe in yourself, because if you're not going to believe in yourself, nobody is.
Yep, that's true all across.
So when we're talking about business ethics and AI ethics, how do you make sure that growth doesn't trump what's right?
So you do commerce as well, right?
Yes, I'm a commerce student, guys.
If I have to ask you the same question based on your learnings and your findings, what do you think is a good business ethics?
As a commerce major, obviously we learn about, what's right, what's not right when making business decisions. So the two main concepts I would like to discuss is the normative and instrumental approach and their considerations when making decisions.
Yeah.
So the normative approach focuses on doing what is ethically right based on widely accepted standards and principles such as human rights, justice, and fairness. It involves making choices that align with these standards, emphasizing the importance of ethical principles, responsibilities towards society, and the impact on people involved.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the instrumental approach centers on the effectiveness of decisions in achieving specific business objectives, such as financial performance, competitive advantage, and regulatory compliance. So in terms of, when you were creating your products, what was the approach you focused on? Were you focused more on the personal gain sort of things, which is the instrumental approach, like the finances that are being improved and the personal gain you're getting from it? Or were you more focused towards the ethics and how you're making an impact on society and the community?
The second one, because obviously at this initial phase and obviously at that time I didn't have investors, I was burning money and everything. So one of my focus from the start with SKDIV is to be as authentic and as transparent as possible with the users. And that is one of the very good things that he brought up, because today what I see, there are some UNSW affiliate bodies at UNSW or anywhere else, whether it's an investment firm or whatever it might be. And some of the people over there, they are either mentors or they are either representatives of these affiliate bodies of some big organizations or big universities and stuff. And what they do basically is they do a lot of things at once. They plagiarize, they do not have any transparency policy, they do not have any privacy policy and all that stuff. And still somehow they are mentors. And that was why whenever I made any product, whether it's Iris or whether it's Crew or whether it's SKDIV as a B2B business, the first thing what we did is to set up our own legal team, legal advisor, legal advocate, senior advocate, and we prepared our own terms of use and privacy policies. Because as a company, obviously what we are collecting is user information and everything. So obviously as a company, we want to let our users know and be as transparent as possible with them in terms of what we are collecting, why we are collecting those, and what we are using it for. Because if I'm not explicitly giving all these information to a user will be obviously thinking that it's not authentic platform, it's not good for my own privacy and everything. And at the end of the day, I won't be able to generate the instrumental benefits which you talked about, because I won't have consumer trust. So anyway, I will not be able to have consumers. So the consumer related benefits, what I'm getting, whether if a consumer is spending money on myself or the company and stuff, I won't be able to have that in the long run, just because there is no trust. And as I said in the start itself, that what Apple did initially is first build the consumer trust. Today, I mean, you're a student as well, and I know you as a colleague and as a friend as well, and I haven't seen you using any Android device. Why is that?
They've built an ecosystem.
Yes, that's an ecosystem, but at the same time, that any problem if your device has, you will be able to resolve that very easily because of the consumer trust what Apple had built in last 2 decades, almost 2 decades. And that is what I exactly foster upon.
So we've talked a lot about AI and we've also touched base on SKDIV Intelligence. What's the difference? What's the difference between artificial intelligence and SKDIV Intelligence?
To answer that, I would like to ask you, what do you perceive as artificial intelligence?
I think the main purpose of AI in today's time and age is to simplify daily human operations. For our Indian audience, I'm sure you would have seen the movie Three Idiots. So in that, there's a scene where the main character, what's his name?
Rancho.
Yeah, Rancho is sitting in class and the professor asks him what a machine is, to define a machine. He says, "Sir, it's anything that makes life easy, simplifies human operation." And then he goes on to say, a zip, it's a machine. A fan, it's a machine, right? And in that scene, he gets absolutely torn down by the professor because like, this is not a proper definition, that's not a machine. But I feel like it was a really smart answer, right? In simple words, I think AI is anything that makes life easier for humans, that improves efficiency, as you mentioned earlier.
No, that's exactly correct. And that's what I believe in. That anything that is, again, I don't like using AI as a terminology or whatever it is. I would rather use machine learning. So any algorithm that is machine learning based, what I believe is those things are generated or invented for human efficiency, or for us to be more efficient in our tasks, in our day-to-day life, or in whatever we do as professional work, or whether it's non-professional work, or whatever it might be, or like private personal work. So similarly, like today, what I see in the market, everybody advertises AI or anything related to AI, that it's something that will do anything, whatever you believe in. Or people on big forums or public forums, they even talk about AI taking jobs and everything. And I believe that AI will never take jobs. What it will definitely do is make the job market more competitive, make ourselves compelled enough to be more competitive with our qualifications. Because if you see in last, let's say, 50 years, somebody with a low computer science qualification might get a high paying job, because that time the computer science and everything was very scarce.
Do you feel like since AI is evolving and a lot of people are under the misconception that AI is taking jobs, do you think it puts more emphasis on humans having to work on skills such as emotional intelligence, which is something that AI does not have at the moment?
Yep. AI doesn't have it, and AI probably will never have it, because emotions are something, obviously you can replicate emotional outcomes based on human interactions and stuff, but it will not be natural, and it will never be natural what a human expects, obviously. So human intelligence, that is obviously, or the emotional intelligence, that is obviously for humans and everything to ponder upon. But in terms of AI or artificial intelligence and stuff, it is just for making our day-to-day life, as you said, as you portrayed it very nicely. It's just to make our lives much more easier and much more nicer. In terms of job perspective, it's gonna make the jobs more competitive. Definitely, it is. And as you progress, that is what the meaning of progress is. It's not that the society is progressing, but the job conditions are not going to progress. It's going to stay stagnant. That's not going to happen. Like as I was mentioning, 50 years ago or 20 years ago, let's say early 2000s, if you wanted a job in a big prominent companies, or not very prominent at that time, let's say Microsoft and stuff, you could get it very easy with whatever qualification you had, because the requirements were very basic, the job descriptions were very basic. But the same requirements and same job descriptions wouldn't suffice in today's market. And that is why people try to do a lot. Like myself, I'm just 22, 23 years old, and I'm doing a lot of stuff because I want to be at my best at all times, and I can't be at my best just by following a certain university curriculum.
I feel like in terms of efficiency, yeah, it does save a lot of time, but I also feel like AI is creating jobs as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's transforming it. It's obviously when you, let's say, you put up a very good example. Even these AI tools or whatever we have, they work on data centers. You have data centers invented. You have multiple jobs being created over there, from cleaner job to a maintainer job, like a data center maintainer job and everything. So there are new job being created, but the qualifications of those jobs, as I said, will be very high compared to, let's say, carpenter, or whether, let's say, a keysmith or whatever it might be. So obviously the job descriptions, job qualifications are going to be higher. And that is what AI is doing. Basically, the easy part of things, or easy day-to-day life, which took us huge time before, it's just being done in minutes now.
So I feel like the discussions we had today were very, very insightful. I feel like I got a lot to learn for myself. I'm sure you took a lot away from this conversation as well. And I'm sure our audience will also, be thrilled to be able to, take away two different perspectives from today. But thank you so much for being here and joining us on CREWcasts.
Thank you for having me. And I would just like to add a few things for our viewers before I close the episode, and before our host, Miss Ruchika Techa, closes the episode. For our viewers, for our users, we have lots of exciting things coming in next 2 to 3 months. For few people, few organizations, I'm having few things coming up for them as well. For people who do not follow business ethics, for people who do not follow AI ethics, I'm having few things coming from them as well. And I would ask you guys to be very vigilant with what I'm bringing up, and accept what I'm bringing up, because for those people, it's gonna be a tough thing. So enjoy, everybody.
So guys, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We went through everything, the start of how SKDIV started, through the struggles, the impact that we've made on people and especially gamers. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and stay tuned for the further ones to come.
So I start doing a meeting with my team, start collaborating with them, start discussing what they have to do for the day and everything. Can you stop doing it?
Kalo meeting.
What is AI?
Machine, sir. AI एक machine है.
Don't joke, please.
Zip. ऊपर नीचे ऊपर
Joking.